You look down and you're bleeding, you have no idea. You hit your head this time.
You spin that then. Hi friends, welcome back to the shop for a continuation of our suspension on Project Clara.
Rear is done. Now time to knock out the front. And boy, oh boy, do we got a lot of stuff that actually has to go on the car today. As usual, let's talk about why we particularly chose this kit. If you've restored or done the resto mods on these Mustangs, you'll know what I'm talking about at this point. If you're new and you're doing this, trying to make a choice, then you are discovering this just as we are. This is the part of the build outside of metalwork and bodywork where shit gets expensive, like really freaking expensive. And you have a myriad of options. You can go the stock route, the old OEM route, and there's nothing wrong with that if that fits your build. Or you can go the extreme route and spend $10,000 on full coilover systems in the front. But we chose this kit more because of the tooling, the quality of the kit, the adjustability, everything that comes along with the coilover kit. I would say that usually has a very high price, but this one is very, very affordable for what you end up getting. And then on top of that, there are so many Mustang owners out there that swear by Streeter Track and Sean. I've learned over the last few weeks, just his consultation and being able to provide guidance is well worth the cost of these. We know that it's going to work. We know that it's going to fit what we're trying to get out of it. And he's actually listened to what our goals are and then made sure to pinpoint which particular things would work best for that build. So we are not sponsored by Sean or Streeter Track, just pointing out what many other Mustang owners already know, and that he is a fantastic resource with great pieces for the Mustang. So this episode is going to be just us installing. This is not going to be a how-to, unless there's some things that we want to point out that could end up helping you out that's different than a couple of other videos that are online with other channels. But there are one or two other channels out there that have really great how-tos for this already. So let's jump in. Let's continue to move the needle on Clara and see where it goes from here.
I'm gonna have fun filming today.
We're gonna have fun filming. Don't you hate it when you actually are working in the shop and then suddenly you look down and you're bleeding, you have no idea? Legit blood, sweat, and tears are going into this car.
Come on. Alright, we'll hold on to that locking nut until we get that torqued. Okay, you're spinning my wrist.
Okay.
Hold on. Right, it's heavy. All right.
Ready? You did all the hard work. 3/4. You hit your head this time.
You spin that then.
I can't spin that by hand with here.
All right, skip in the washer. All right, lift up on it and let's see if that's even, do we want to do the spacer or the washer?
One thing that I am going to call out here is in the instruction manual it does say you could use the spacer that we have and then the thick washer that comes along with it, or the washer may not be needed. What we did discover is that the washer with the spacer for our setup was not going to work. So we're actually going to remove the washer itself.
Ooh, baby, pin me. Can I borrow that nut?
How about the washer and the nut? Hey,
Loose nut.
hey,
Loose nut.
dropping the nuts on the floor. Okay.
I just figured maybe we ought to get the right size socket.
Oh, you can get it on there finger tight for right now.
You have a lot of...
Just get it started so it doesn't keep falling out the hole.
Dork.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right, there we go. That's better. All right.
You good now?
Yep, let's try it. There we go. You like you're jamming out with the guitar there. All right, swap.
I don't have the
All right,
shoulder
you come-
strength for this today. I don't know that I have.
I don't
the
think I
shoulder-
need that. I may not need that now.
I think that is incorrect and fallacious. It says to do it while torquing it.
All right, well, it's not moving now.
Well, let me hold it just in case it does move, and then I won't need to use my shoulder strength, now will I? By the power of Grayskull.
I have the power!
It sucks not having upper body strength today.
Okay.
Like
All right.
everything that I do is just like, meh.
If you're installing this on a 67 to 70 like we are, just a quick tip on the actual strut rod bar, you need to go ahead and screw it all the way down on both ends in order for it to line up on the lower control arm. Unlike some other suspension or steering products where you may end up having some threads still exposed, here there's not. You need to go ahead and just run it all the way to both ends for it to line up. Now we are going to move on to our lower shock mount, and as the instructions say, you want to make sure that on the bottom side you have an arrow that points towards the outside of the car. Both of these holes here should line up with the end of your strut rod and going through your lower control arm.
Do I need to hold it on there?
It's just trying to find a place where I don't break my knuckles open. Alright, so one additional new item that we're putting in is the new sway bar. This grungy little skinny one is the original equipment. Now granted, the original car had a lot less horsepower and the suspension really didn't require it, but now that we're tripling our horsepower and have new wheels as well as new suspension, we needed to beef this up. So the new bar is a 1-inch sway bar from CJ Pony Parts, and the kit comes with all new hardware to include rubber bushings. So now we're at that point where we need to go ahead and get this installed. Okay, so we are at that stage that is no longer bolt-on, unfortunately. This is the only part of the install that will require drilling. So this is one of those check twice, check thrice, do as many things as you need to do before you drill these damn holes. So they recommend that you absolutely have to have an export brace when installing this. Thankfully, Clara already had one, but it did not look as good as this. So we took it to our friends at Commander Coatings in Batavia here in Ohio to go ahead and get a fresh coat of gloss black on for us. You have to have this on in order to do the next steps. Now thankfully Sean and team, they supply you with a 3/8 inch punch with a very sharp little tip here that we need to use to mark all 3 of the new holes on each side that will ultimately have the new bolts going through and mounting the coilover system to the top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this little stressful piece. I'm never a fan of drilling into these damn vehicles knowing that I don't think there's much opportunity for error. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and then let you just watch along. Okay. It's important after each one of these holes that are drilled, you put the spacer up there and make sure that it lines up. Go ahead and bolt it all on there. Make sure it seats the way that it's supposed to. Okay, so we have all of the holes drilled and the export brace in. Now I'll share with you other videos make those holes in the drilling of them oh so incredibly easy. But I guarantee you that they did not just nail them on the first shot. We did have two that were just, you know, a little short and curly shy of spot on, so we had to use our step-up bit just to widen the hole a tad. One big thing that I would recommend anybody doing this, do one side completely, then move to the other side completely. Don't go one and then one over here without actually getting everything secure, because we noticed that the holes were starting to be a little bit off. So we stopped where we were at, finished one side, and then completed the other one. So now, time to flip to the underside and bolt on the shiny parts. All right, we are in the home stretch, the final piece. Now, the instruction manual says to kind of take off this top hat here and mount it up to the bottom of the spacer, and then take the coil springs and mount it up to the top hat. We actually are going to go a little bit of a different route, since this is already there, it's already bolted up and ready to go. We're just going to seat it right up to the spacer and then put the nuts onto the underside and then torque it down from there. We don't really see a need to go ahead and separate these. So, ready to get this done now? All right, a little bit more.
If you move your hand, I can see it.
These little spacers will swear like Plinko. Raise up just a little. Just a little more. All right. Now we're going to torque this one down to 50 foot-pounds, and since we did not take the top hat off to install it, we want to make sure that you go back and torque down the one at the very top as well, because it does not come torqued from factory.
And it is 50 foot-pounds.
And it's the same, 50 foot-pounds. Well, look at that. As usual, not all modifications are freaking easy. And damn it, we have another one. So earlier we showed you that the sway bar, we were going to go ahead and bolt it up based on the instructions, and you could do it earlier or you could do it in step 7. And we ran into a problem with the sway bar that we've got here. And they actually provide 2 options as possible solutions for this. All right, as you can see here, we are hitting the coilover. And this is not bolted all the way in, and we've already went ahead and taken the sway bar down just in order to be able to get this on. So there are possible solutions depending upon your issue. One, you could round off the edges of the sway bar here, or 2, cut the sleeve in half to reduce the overall height. That is likely the option that we are going to go with. I want to confirm with Sean, and I also want to confirm we don't lose the usability of the sway bar itself. So we'll make a second video on a follow-up for this after we just kind of validate the data on it. But likely we're just going to cut this sleeve in half and reduce it, and that should eliminate the problems. Okay, another modification, another step closer to the end. Did we hit some roadblocks? Yes. Do we always? Well, of course. It wouldn't be us if we didn't. But it's looking damn good. Very happy with how everything else, minus the little hiccups, has turned out incredibly easy to kind of bolt on. Just some of those steps to really make sure you take your time and be patient with it so you don't mess anything up.
You know, it's almost like we're getting ready for brakes and wheels.
Almost. The next step, once we figure out this sway bar part, is going to be the brakes. So that's up next. All right, so once again, thanks for following along on the build. We certainly appreciate it. And until next episode, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.